playoff hunt. As we look at the AFC West standings, you can see that they trail Denver by a game. Although they have lost to the Broncos twice, Kansas City is still very viable wild card candidate as well. Joe Namath, the big question for the Chiefs today, though, is what about quarterback? Steve DeBerg had 4 interceptions last week. Will he start today?
He will start today. Coach Schottenheimer said he's not changing a thing. I talked with Steve, the 15-year veteran, earlier. Hey, he had a bad game last week and against the Rams 2 weeks ago, but DeBerg is anxious to get started. I can see that offense running that football and pounding it at a Cleveland defense with 3 rookies in the line.
Well, that's right. Kansas City's strong suit is the running game, headed by Christian Okoye, who needs only 60 yards to pass 1,000 yards rushing for the season. But there is an absence from that rushing game for the Chiefs today.
Well, the rookie running back Williams is out with an ankle injury, so the speed won't be there. But because of the weather conditions, I can see the running better by the big, strong, heavy backs.
Of course, Cleveland has virtually no rushing attack, averaging just around 70 yards a game on the ground. That puts a lot of pressure on Bernie Kosar.
Oh, sure. And Bernie Kosar, I mean, he's smart. He can read the secondary coverages, and this may very well be the best secondary Kosar will go against this season. But Bernie's big concern today is going to be the pass rushing of the Kansas City outside linebacker Derek Thomas, who's second in sacks in the NFL.
And here's the kickoff. The Browns will kick to the Chiefs. Stover sends it on its way. Taken at the 5-yard line. Stratford returns across the 20 to about the 24-yard line, where the Kansas City offense will come on the field to set up shop. That Kansas City offense ranked 9th in the NFL, 4th on the run. Veterans Lutz and Baldinger with 19 years of combined experience key the offensive line. DeBerg trying to shake off last week's poor performance. He has 12 TD passes and 9 interceptions this season. Thomas, his chief target, is injured, replaced by Emil Harry. Okoye is the number 2 AFC rusher. And the Kansas City ace formation brings Holohan in for 2 tight ends. They go to Christian Okoye on first down. He's to the 25-yard line and just across, tackled there by Clay Matthews. Here's the Cleveland defense, 24th in the NFL. Pro Bowler Michael Dean Perry joined by 3 rookies up front. Logan replacing the injured Rob Burnett. Richard Brown, middle linebacker, 2nd on the team in tackles. The leading tackler is in the secondary, free safety Vince Newsom. Stephen Braggs replaces Frank Minifield at quarterback. Minifield, nursing a shoulder injury, will play in the Browns' dime. He and Jackson give them 6 defensive backs. Here's another run by Kansas City. Christian Okoye, this time tackled by the strong safety Eric Turner after a gain of 9 and a Kansas City first down. Here's that dime defense for the Cleveland Browns, as Minifield, normally a starter but with a shoulder injury, he and Jackson come in for 6 DB. First down, Kansas City on 2 rushes by Christian Okoye. The ball just short of the 34-yard line of the Chiefs. DeBerg handing to Okoye for the 3rd straight time, and this time the Cleveland defense meets him with Michael Dean Perry and Ernie Logan getting penetration in the backfield to stop Okoye for a loss of 1.
Talking with Michael Dean Perry yesterday, he said, hey, we have to establish a new line of scrimmage once that ball snapped. In other words, we need to get penetration to slow down this running game. You must get to Okoye and these running backs before they get a head of steam up.
2nd and 11 for the Chiefs. Christian Okoye once again. He's across the 35 to the 36, where Richard Brown, the 2nd leading tackler for Cleveland, with help from David Brandon, makes the stop after a 3-yard gain. It's been strictly Christian Okoye for the Chiefs so far.
Well, this Brown defense has done what they like to do now. They want to get Kansas City in a 3rd and long situation, kind of in a must-pass situation. The Brown defense this season's a bit different with the philosophy. They don't believe in giving up the long play. They play more zone coverage back there.
It is 3rd and long for Kansas City. Okoye is out. Todd McNair has come in. DeBerg's in the shotgun. Nickel defense, dime defense for the Browns. They're dime. Fumbled by DeBerg, who pounces on it. The snap seemed to hit him right in the hands and bounce off. Michael Dean Perry was all over him, although DeBerg was able to recover.
Well, Michael Dean Perry fouled that play up from the beginning. You see, DeBerg and his teammates saw Michael Dean Perry lined up on the outside, out in the defensive end position, and DeBerg took his eyes off the football and simply dropped it. It really wasn't a bad snap.
Brian Barker will punt for Kansas City. Webster Slaughter is deep for the Cleveland Browns. There's Barker averaging 40.5. Slaughter awaiting the kick at his own 25. Good high kick by Barker. Slaughter has to backpedal, then lets it bounce, and it will go out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. Barker getting a good one with the aid of the wind, and Cleveland will have the ball when we return to Cleveland Stadium in a scoreless first quarter.
The white zone is for immediate.
We didn't design the new Mazda MX-3 to be like apple pie. Jalapenos were what we had in mind. Because if something's not worth having an opinion about it, it's not worth having. And with the only V6 in its class, the MX-3 is one hot chili pepper. Hey, you're not John Doe. Why drive his car? The new MX-3 from the new Mazda.
It just feels right!
If you could be the executive producer, would you choose this event or this event? With the Olympics triple cast, you'll get 24-hour coverage for 15 days on 3 cable channels. So now for the '92 Barcelona Olympics, you can choose your event. Call 1-800-OLYMPIC. The Olympics triple cast, a whole new way to see the games.
The Xerox guarantee is no ordinary guarantee.
I said, show me. And he did.
It says Xerox will replace any product for any reason at your request for 3 years.
It all depends on execution.
It's about a relationship that makes your satisfaction the measure of everything we do. It's the words we live by, and it's from Xerox.
They mean what they say.
Faxing, copying, printing. Xerox, the document company.
There is a sound that you can expect to hear on the new Riviera. It's the sound of German being spoken by those who now converge on Miami's legendary beach. Beck, the #1 imported German beer on Ocean Drive, in America, and the world.
Browns first-year coach, Bill Belichick, showing disdain for the weather today in the sweater. Here's his offense. Center Mike Babb in his 10th year makes the line calls and helps rookie Ed King as at right guard. The super accurate Kozar is hit for 2,400 yards through the air, 13 TDs, only 2 interceptions. Slaughter, the Browns' #1 receiver. Mack, the top rusher, though he's averaging only 3 yards a carry. The Browns' 3-wide receiver formation is called gold. Brennan is the 3rd wide out. Kozar to pass on first down. Just gets away from the rush and completes a short pass to the 25 to his tight end Scott Galbraith, and Dino Hackett was all over him. Here's a look at that gold formation for the Cleveland Browns as Brennan becomes the 3rd wide receiver. Now let's look at the Kansas City defense. That front 3 is good. Smith, Salamua, and Moss. Hackett, great against the run. Thomas, 11.5 sacks, tops the AFC. Maybe the league's best secondary here. Cherry leads the team in tackles and interceptions. And here's the 41 dime with 6 defensive backs. 2nd and 6 for the Cleveland Browns. Running play to Joe Morris. Morris hit behind the line by Bill Moss and dropped for a loss on the play. And that's been pretty typical, Joe, of the Cleveland running game all season long. That one a loss of 2. Tracy Simeon also got a piece of the tackle.
Well, they've been averaging 74 yards a game on the ground. Coach Belichick knows that he's got to get a better running game going, but he still likes the effort this team's putting out. The effort's been good. Bernie Kozar's been pretty darn sharp, and I guess it's up front. That's where it all starts, Tom. That offensive line has got to start doing a better job.
3rd and 8 for Kozar. This is the gold formation. Slaughter, Langhorne, and Brennan, 3 wide receivers. A rare scramble by Bernie Kozar, and he gets it across the 30, but short of the first down by about a yard. Lloyd Burris tackled Kozar after he gained 7 yards, but not enough for the first.
Well, Bernie Kozar is going against, as I mentioned earlier, possibly the best coverage secondary in the NFL, and he simply doesn't have anyone open at this time. Now, Bernie's not that fleet of foot. A faster quarterback may have picked up this first down, but a lesser quarterback strategy-wise could have thrown an interception. So it was a good move on Kozar's behalf.
Hansen to punt to Stratford. Fumbled the snap, but with no rush, gets it away. Stratford from the 27 fumbles the ball. Loose ball. Browns have it.
Well, they better not get too excited, Tom. You know, with that fumbled snap, I believe they may have had some linemen downfield a bit early.
There is a penalty marker on the field. Leroy Horde had recovered the fumble, but it may not count. After this conference, Larry Nemmers heads the officiating crew.
Well, you know, the coverage guys on the punt team, they just count a couple of beats and then they release.
You called it, Joe.
Yeah.
After the fumbled snap, the lineman illegally downfield.
And eligible downfield on the kicking team, number 33. Repeat, fourth down.
It was Leroy Horde who was downfield early, the man who recovered Stratford's fumble.
Yeah, that's not an error on Horde's part. I mean, you practice these punt snaps and the timing that it takes for the punter to get the ball off. You don't take into account a fumbled snap, a mishandled snap, a bad snap on the first bounce back to Hansen.
Brian Kinchin, the reserve tight end, is the long snapper, and he one-hopped that one, and it is a big break for the Chiefs because the Browns would have had the ball down deep in Kansas City territory. Instead, Hansen will punt once again. Stratford from the 34 hit immediately and drops. Good downfield coverage by Berry of the Cleveland Browns. Latin Berry stopping Stratford in his tracks, and Kansas City will take over again. 0-0.
A kiss? No, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on.
Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss.
When the Mazda Miata first came along, it was like nobody else's baby. But then it was designed to be different. Now the Miata will be joined by 5 new Mazda cars, like the MX-3 Sports Coupe with the only V6 in its class, and the 929 luxury sedan with dual airbags standard. Cars as pure and personal as the Miata. Designed to be different? You bet. The Miata was just the beginning.
Darling, after 10 years, the only thing I'd change about you is your clothes.
Bugle boy.
Why don't you try this one on first?
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Preferred Stock Cologne from the House of Stetson. Extra smooth, extra special, what preferred men prefer. By Bugle Boy Company, because any closet without Bugle Boy is an empty closet. And by Extra Strength Tylenol Gel Caps. For everyday pain, nothing works better.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from Cleveland Stadium. Marty Schottenheimer, the Kansas City coach, returning to Cleveland for the second time since he was fired as Browns coach. His first trip back resulted in a 10-10 tie. Kansas City with the ball. Christian Okoye, the lone setback. 2 tight ends, Hayes and Holohan. And Okoye is across the 40-yard line. Richard Brown, the middle linebacker, making the stop for the Cleveland Browns. Let's check our 10-minute ticker with the Raiders breaking on top at Riverfront. No scores in the other games. A Meggett 70-yard punt return has given the Giants a 7-0 lead over Tampa Bay. And here at Cleveland Stadium, scoreless first quarter with Kansas City in a 2nd and 4 situation. Once again, Christian Okoye picking his way forward, and not much there. He managed to move the stack about a yard, and that's it. It'll be third down coming up for Kansas City. And Marty Schottenheimer, his son Brian, quarterbacked Blue Valley High School to the Kansas State Football Championship yesterday, capping 3 great comebacks in playoff action for Blue Valley. So he was all excited about his son Brian. In fact, Marty, Joe, didn't he win a state basketball championship when he was in high school in Pennsylvania?
Back at McDonald High School in McDonald, Pennsylvania, and Marty says to this day that's still his biggest thrill in sports, winning that basketball championship in high school.
Again, 2 tight ends, the ace formation for Kansas City. Christian Okoye, third straight carry. He'll be close to the first down at about the 45-yard line. It'll depend on the spot of the football here. David Brandon and Michael Dean Perry wrapping up Christian Okoye, but it appears that he will just have enough for the first down.
This is what Kansas City wants to do, keep grinding out the yardage. This is going to be a game of field position today. I don't expect many big plays because of the weather conditions and the field condition. It's soft and slippery.
Both coaches saying wind, the biggest factor. The Chiefs have it in their favor at the moment. Here's Okoye with his 8th carry of the game, and it nets only a couple of yards. 8 carries, 26 yards for Christian Okoye. And once again, Richard Brown in the middle of the defense for Cleveland, with getting help from Sanga Pulatelli and Clay Matthews. The broad back of Christian Okoye. Deron Cherry was talking about Christian yesterday. I asked Deron if he ever tackled Okoye in practice, and he said, no, that'll shorten your career, although he did try it once. Ready to go at the line on a play-action pass, Kansas City, and complete to Holohan, the tight end. He is across the 45 of the Browns for a first down. Tracked down by David Brandon there. The first pass of the game complete by Steve DeBerg.
Well, Cleveland has to bite on his play-action fake a little bit. You see the linebackers in the flow. Just go over there. Well, the linebacker on the outside that was responsible for Holohan went for that run fake, and by the time he recovered, he just couldn't make the play.
First down Chiefs. DeBerg's first pass of the game after Okoye had carried every other time. I formation this time. Okoye, the tailback, gets the handoff and gets about 3 yards before David Brandon again makes the tackle. Brandon, in his 5th year from Memphis State, came over as a free agent, Plan B, from San Diego. Originally a 3rd-round choice of the Buffalo Bills back in '87. Spent all last year on the San Diego injured reserve list.
You know, this whole Cleveland team has a different look. 27 different faces on this team, or new faces this season from the disappointing, and putting it mildly, disappointing last season.
They've even had new faces of late. They had to add some lockers to their new dressing room out at their training facility. DeBerg in the flat completes it to Bill Jones. Jones with the pass reception, his 12th of the season. He's the 4th leading receiver for the Chiefs. Tackled by Stephen Braggs, but not until he had a first down. A gain of 9.
It's nice to have a back like Jones, who not only does the blunt of the blocking for Okoye, but is able to catch the ball with those soft hands and still has some kind of speed to get upfield.
Jones does not have a single carry from scrimmage, but is the 4th leading receiver. Here is Barry Word coming into the game because Harvey Williams is injured and out. Gets his first carry and makes a good gain. Finally tackled by the free safety Vince Newsom, but a 13-yard pickup.
Oh, excellent blocking up front by this Kansas City line. Offensive line opened a huge hole for Word. Now, Kansas City's doing something that they haven't been doing, and they're going right to the line of scrimmage. They're not getting back in the huddle every time. DeBerg's letting his team know what to run from the line.
Barry Word again has the ball, and Word close to the 10-yard line. Eric Turner again on the tackle, as lately the offensive line of the Chiefs has been opening holes for their running backs, and the secondary of the Browns having to come up and make the tackle.
Well, sure, the Browns have 3 defensive linemen to the rookies in there, and this Kansas City offensive line, they're starting the 12th game together. They haven't been hurt all season long. They have the upper hand. I mean, Grunhard is doing a fine job up front along with Lutz.
Vintage Kansas City drive, trying to break a scoreless first quarter. 4.5 minutes left. Barry Word. He's to the 8-yard line. It'll be close to a first down for Schottenheimer's Chiefs. Ernie Logan, the rookie from East Carolina, getting the start in place of the injured Rob Burnett, gets credit for the tackle. The receiving core for the Chiefs has been depleted, including Rob Thomas, their top receiver on the year, who is inactive today.
The Bergs had to work with a lot of combinations of receivers because of the injuries, and if you want to use that as an excuse for his last couple of games being off, you may, but he doesn't choose to do so.
Just inches short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and inches for Kansas City, and inside the 20-yard line, 22 touchdowns and 10 field goals. That's 32 scores out of 34 possessions. See the pockets in DeBerg's jersey, keeping his hands warm. Bernie Kosar was a 15-year-old 9th grader in Boardman, Ohio, when 24-year-old Steve DeBerg took his first NFL snap here at Cleveland Stadium back in the 70s, playing for the 49ers. Okoye, yes, inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. 260 pounds with a head of steam, tough to stop. Eric Turner finally made the tackle. It'll be 1st and goal, Kansas City.
Okoye hitting behind left tackle John Alt, and Zott, look at this hole up front. I mean, it's a huge hole. David Zott just does a wonderful job of turning the defensive lineman out.
Christian Okoye has carried the ball 10 times for 34 yards. He's a likely candidate here. He's the tailback in the eye. Okoye, not much there. Cleveland throws him back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe a little more, not much. James Jones, another rookie up front from Northern Iowa, 3rd-round choice, leading the charge for Cleveland.
Where the game's won and lost, right down there in the pit. Look at this surge by the Cleveland jerseys. You see, they didn't get blown off that line very much, and Okoye had nowhere to go that time. I got to believe that Kansas City's going to have to put it in the air because Cleveland expects them to run.
2nd and goal, 2 tight end formation. Okoye is the only setback. Christian Okoye tries the right side. Hit, fumbled the ball, loose ball. Cleveland's got it. James Jones recovers the fumble of Christian Okoye, who fumbles once every 47 carries. He hardly ever fumbles. He turns it over there inside the 5-yard line of the Browns. A big defensive play by Cleveland.
Well, look at the hit, Tom. You got to give credit right here to being stripped from the football. Good defensive play by these Browns. When we get back, the Browns will have the ball.
There's a big sense of pride in owning a company.
I think customers have noticed the change in the company and the change in us.
We've got this 24-hour hotline in case something happens while you're out on the road.
If you're in a hurry, we've added extra buses, get you in and out fast.
We want to make sure that our customers see that we can provide them with the type of service that they expect and deserve.
We love to make people happy. That's a part of our business. Keep you coming back.
We want to see them back at our counter again, many times. So why rent from anyone but an owner?
Bring that special someone joy with a Radio Shack Christmas toy. Be a DJ, run your own show. With this mic, you'll rap like a pro. Magical toys you'll find to play. This hover buggy will take you away. There's Roby the Bank and Dancing Feet, and walkie-talkies are really neat. Flying choppers seem to go for miles. They're sure to bring the biggest smiles. For toys and more, it's Radio Shack, your Christmas store.
Battery-operated toys from $2.99.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
The white zone is for immediate.
We didn't design the new Mazda MX-3 to be like apple pie. Jalapenos were what we had in mind. Because if something's not worth having an opinion about it, it's not worth having. And with the only V6 in its class, the MX-3 is one hot chili pepper. Hey, you're not John Doe. Why drive his car? The new MX-3 from the new Mazda.
It just feels right. There's a cologne that preferred men prefer.
Preferred stock cologne from the House of Stetson. Smooth and extra special.
Preferred stock cologne. What preferred men prefer.
Coming into the game, the Chiefs and the Browns were tied at +13 for turnover ratio in the NFL.
Well, right there, Odom just acquired by Cleveland, or Johnny Cooks, excuse me, as an immediate dividend. He created that fumble.
So a big turnover by Kansas City. We got things blowing all around. Kozar from his end zone tries a short pass to Kevin Mack. It's knocked down by Dino Hackett, and it'll be second down for the Cleveland Browns, backed up deep in their own territory after recovering Christian Okoye's fumble. Very rarely does the big guy fumble, and as we told you, these two teams very good on not turning the ball over. But Johnny Cooks just signed this week by the Cleveland Browns, active for the first time today. Right there with a broad back facing you. Kind of ripped the ball loose. He didn't get it immediately, but he loosened it, and then Okoye dropped it, and the Browns had the turnover. From their own 4. Kevin Mack bursts free for a moment, takes it to the 6-yard line, where Deron Cherry, who leads the Chiefs with 82 tackles now on the season, makes the stop after a gain of 3. Deron Cherry, who is practicing to be a color commentator. Back in Kansas City, he does high school color commentary, both football and basketball, on a cable station, and also hosts a cable Kansas City show each week. A budding broadcaster. Don't know how much longer he'll play in the NFL. This is his 11th year out of Rutgers. He said he's sort of taking it 1 year at a time, but playing very well this year. He said as well as he ever has after overcoming a knee injury. Third down pass from Kozar. Whips it, intercepted at the 15-yard line. Only the 3rd interception this year thrown by Bernie Kosar. J.C. Pearson picked it off, cutting right in front of the intended receiver, Brian Brennan.
Oh, yes, it was a poorly thrown pass by Kosar. I know he wished he had it back, but Pearson's awfully happy about it. Kosar tried to stick it in the middle to number 86. You see on the left side of the screen, and the ball's going to appear to be thrown to Pearson, who is in very good shape. Nice defensive play on a poorly thrown pass. 2nd interception of the season for J.C. Pearson. So Kansas City turns it over inside the 5, but Cleveland returns the favor. It'll be first down Kansas City at the Cleveland 16-yard line. Turnovers in weather like this would be very big in a game, you would think. Field position, too, yes. Turnovers, field position on a day like today.
Turnovers always important, but in a game under poor weather conditions, doubly important. DeBerg with a pass to Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, who lugs it all the way to the 3-yard line. Play action pass on the fake to Okoye. The pass complete. Johnny Cooks makes the tackle.
Once again, those linebackers for Cleveland are all frozen and going the other way because of the play action fake. That's why Jonathan Hayes is all alone out there. There's no one really to cover him. The safeties paid attention to the fake, so Jonathan Hayes was open immediately and turned it into a nice game.
Even linebackers were frozen, huh?
No pun intended.
Did you mean that literally?
No.
First and goal from the 2 for Kansas City. Christian Okoye fumbles again. And Cleveland has it again. James Jones, I think, has recovered the 2nd Christian Okoye fumble. 2 fumbles Okoye, 2 recoveries Jones. Unbelievable. Okoye seldom fumbles. The Chiefs seldom turn it over. Almost always score in the red zone. And the rookie James Jones has recovered 2 Christian Okoye fumbles. Still scoreless in this first quarter.
When her car needed a new battery, you got the heavy-duty model. When the tires started to wear, you spent a little more for the good ones. And even though the brakes could have made it a while longer, you said replace them. And now that fall's here, you're using Prestone Antifreeze. Its patented formula exceeds every performance standard set for the antifreeze industry. For corrosion and freeze-up protection, Prestone, we make it better than we have to. For some very good reasons.
When the Mazda Miata first came along, it was like nobody else's baby. But then it was designed to be different. Now the Miata will be joined by 5 new Mazda cars, like the MX-3 Sports Coupe with the only V6 in its class. And the 929 luxury sedan with dual airbags standard. Cars as pure and personal as the Miata. Designed to be different? You bet. The Miata was just the beginning.
I knew stress was part of the job. But my first day really put me to the test. By the evening, the stress gave me a headache that was so bad, I didn't think the pounding would stop. Thank goodness one of the doctors gave me Tylenol. Imagine, with all the pain relievers they have at the hospital, they use what I use. It made a real difference. Then I could too.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
The Black & Decker Workmate. About all it can help you do is clean up. But at least it gets out of your way, and it's a powerful gift idea.
First down run by Kevin Mack, nets very little. Ball just about to the 5-yard line after a first down run by Mack. Chris Martin makes the tackle. Let's check our 10-minute ticker. Raiders still leading 7-0. Mayhew with an interception, 31 yards for the touchdown, puts the Redskins up on Dallas. Pittsburgh breaks on top of the Oilers. Oilers can clinch the playoffs today, and the Giants still leading. Barry Sanders from 17 yards puts Detroit up 7-0. Here at Cleveland, 0-0 with 15 seconds left in the first quarter. 2nd and 9 for the Browns. Kozar's pass complete to Galbraith, and Galbraith to the 10-yard line, well short of the first down, tackled by Lonnie Martz there, and that'll bring the first quarter to an end. 2 Christian Okoye fumbles that made it scoreless. Well, as Christian Okoye fumbled for the second time, he got some words from Marty Schottenheimer. There's Christian, who has fumbled twice inside the Cleveland 5-yard line, something he rarely does, but it's cost Kansas City 2 scoring opportunities as we begin the second quarter. Big third down play here for the Cleveland Browns. Play action pass. Kosar completed the pass to Webster Slaughter, and it will be enough for a Cleveland first down. Let's go to Bob Costas now at NFL Live.
In Cincinnati, here is Donald Hollis, who began the year as the third-string quarterback for the Bengals, throwing over the middle right into the arms of Ronnie Lott. He's been an excellent pickup for the Raiders, his 5th INT of the year. Back into Cincy territory, Raiders patched together a quick drive. Steve Smith scored from the 1, 7-0 L.A.
Thanks, Bob. Hollis sensational, replacing the injured Boomer Esiason in Philadelphia a week ago, but finding things a little rougher against the Raiders in the early going. Leroy Horde on a first down carry after the Browns had picked up their initial first down of the game, and Horde will take it for a gain of 5 or 6 yards. Here are the numbers after the first quarter. Not much going on.
Well, Kansas City certainly has had the football a lot, but the 2 turnovers have hurt them drastically. We're seeing a good defensive football game. Neither team wants to give up the big play, and so they're playing soft in the secondary, forcing the offenses to try and put together a long, sustained drive.
2nd and 4 for the Browns. Mack out of the game, replaced by Joe Morris. It's Morris and Horde in the backfield. Horde the fullback and Morris the tailback. Joe Morris, hit behind the line, manages to stumble forward to the original line of scrimmage. It was Chris Martin that got penetration and hit Joe Morris shortly after he took the handoff. There's Martin in his 9th year out of Auburn, 3rd leading tackler for this Chief team.
Martin shooting across the line of scrimmage. Here's the wild card contenders right now, and there's 5 of them we're looking at. There's the time. You know, Kansas City, to me, Tom, is better than the rest of the teams we're looking at, but they still have to prove it down the stretch. I would fully expect Kansas City to be there when the season comes to an end.
3rd and 4 for the Browns. Bernie Kosar threw no interceptions his first 9 games, but counting today, 3 in his last 3 games. Blitz by Kansas City, and Kosar scrambles. He'll be short of the first down. Neil Smith and Dan Saliamua coming from the defensive line, and the blitz by Lord Burris from the safety position, putting the pressure on Kosar.
Well, that's having a lot of confidence in your secondary, and Kansas City does have confidence. They don't like to blitz Kozar very often because he can read so quickly. He knows where that one-on-one receiver is, and he's able to get the ball out to him. But not the last time. Kansas City got to him quickly.
Hanson punting with the wind on 4th down to Troy Stratford, who takes it at about the 40. Stratford to midfield and crunched to the ground there. Stratford gets it to midfield after a 36-yard punt. There's a penalty marker on the play. Richard Brown made the tackle for the Browns.
You know, it's interesting, Tom. We see the flags are blowing from left to right on the screen, but when I was down walking around the field before the game, it was blowing the exact opposite direction. Look at how the wind is blowing that flag.
That's on the top of the stadium, but down on the
illegal
floor.
block in the back on the receiving team, number 52, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Illegal block by Tracy Rogers of the Kansas City Chiefs will set them back. But down on the floor of the stadium, on the turf itself, as we look at the goalpost, the wind not very active.
No, but that's why the Browns kicked right to left in the first place.
We've got a timeout, 12:07 left in the second quarter.
Buick introduces the new supercharged Ultra for 1992 with 20% more power. 205 horsepower to be exact. Ultra truly ranks among the world's finest luxury performance sedans. The new 1992 supercharged Ultra from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
VHS camcorders just got into shape. Sharp. The new Sharp Slim Cam, the smallest, lightest full-size VHS camcorder in the world. Noticeably sleek, slim, and fat-free, with all the great features of the big camcorders. 12:1 zoom, 1 lux, shoulder stability, and uses VHS tapes that fit right in your VCR. The Sharp Slim Cam, the world's smallest full-size VHS camcorder. It's the great new shape in camcorders.
Citizen, 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 elegant citizen, citizen, elegance. Oh, his citizen, citizen, one citizen with lots of citizen, elegant, elegant, perfectly elegant citizen. We've got elegance.
Chiefs and the Browns scoreless, 12:07 in the second quarter. Bill Belichick, rookie coach of the Cleveland Browns, says not making plays in key situations has hurt his team. We have 3 narrow losses, last 3 losses by a total of 8 points. Said today, though, if this weather was bad, and it is, that it'll be a field position game, and it has been turnovers in field position. Here's Barry Word bursting free and getting a Kansas City first down across the midfield stripe, tackled by David Brandon after a 12-yard pickup.
Well, you see, Barry Word, look, they're getting back up to the line of scrimmage fast, but look how quick Barry Word hits the hole. He's a little quicker to the hole than Okoye, but not as fast as Williams getting there. This gives another dimension to the Kansas City running attack.
Is Okoye not in there because of the 2 fumbles, do you think?
No, I think they're going to use both of these backs. They've been using Williams and Okoye most of the season, alternating them.
DeBerg's first down pass behind the receiver, Barnett, but Barnett turns around to make the grab, tackled by Braggs. Here's our starter 10-minute ticker now. The Raiders get a Roger Craig 6-yard TD run to go up 14-0 at Riverfront Stadium. Washington still leading, Buffalo on top of New England. 2 field goals by Anderson have the Steelers up 6-0, and Giants and Tampa now tied. Green Bay leading against Indianapolis. 3 wide receivers, Harry, Barnett, and Burden. Instead, Barry Word gets the carry and is across the 40 down to the 39-yard line of the Browns. Ernie Logan made the tackle as Christian Okoye on the sidelines after fumbling twice inside the Cleveland 5-yard line.
Well, you'd think this is the play for Okoye. Get in there on a short 3rd down and 1, 3rd down and 1.5. Get that big man in there, but Schottenheimer has Barry Word in there, who's a pretty big back himself, and get to the line just a step, half a step quicker than Okoye.
Word weighs 242 pounds versus Okoye's 260. And he is the setback on 3rd and 1. Barry Word not there. Tackled at the 40-yard line for a loss of a yard on the play. And there's that penetration you talked about again, Joe. That time it was James Jones, who already has 2 fumble recoveries, that got in the backfield.
Number 96, James Jones, just fights his way through the block or attempted block to make the tackle in the backfield. Excellent effort. That's what the Browns have to do. Fight through that line of scrimmage. And it appears, Tom, that these Kansas City Chiefs on 4th down, they go for the 1st down.
DeBerg still on the field on 4th down and a timeout taken. It looks like the Chiefs will try to get it on 4th down.
A lot of cars are taking aim at the imports these days. Well, one American car is very much on target. Buick. Here's their latest hit, the all-new 1992 Skylark. Completely redesigned with more power and advanced features like standard anti-lock brakes. Skylark for 1992. It's got everything you've been looking for, plus the one thing only Buick can offer you, Buick quality.
It's gone, but it isn't.
Vicks introduces an incredible new cough drop.
It's gone, but it isn't.
A cough drop so powerful, it keeps on working even after the drop is gone. It's extra strength Vicks, a new kind of Vicks with twice the Vicks Vapor Medicine to relieve your cough and help your scratchy throat and stuffy nose feel better, even after the drop is gone. New extra strength Vicks, extra strong to work
even after it's gone.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. By Citizen Watches. Citizen, we've got elegance. And by Braun Electric Shavers. It is through superior design that superior performance can be achieved.
From Cleveland Stadium, Tom Hammond and Joe Namath. The Chiefs and the Browns 0-0, and the punter on the field. Hansen is out, or Barker is out for Kansas City. It looked like they were going to go for it on 4th and 3, but they changed their mind in the timeout, so Slaughter is deep for the Browns. Barker's punt, taken on a fair catch by Slaughter at the 16-yard line. Well, the Chiefs may have been planning 4th and 3 to line up and perhaps draw the Browns offside. The Browns timeout eliminated the element of surprise, and now Cleveland takes over.
Is still traveling the world over looking for new foods for Wendy's.
No, thanks. I just ate.
Hey.
Hi. Boy, I sure could go for a Big Dave's Deluxe.
It's back. Made with a quarter pound of fresh beef, cheese, 3 strips of bacon, sauteed onions. The works.
Hey, this isn't Piccadilly.
Come in for another Big Dave's Deluxe, only at Wendy's.
There's no place like home.
Back. This time we get it. STP gas treatment. Cleans intake valves and fuel injectors to help engines run better. STP, the edge.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America. Introducing the 1992 LeSabre with a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
I think cold to the bone would be a better sign for today. You see all those empty seats, don't you? But you can stay in your warm living room and see the second half of the doubleheader on NBC as the Dolphins take on the Chicago Bears. Should be brisk weather in Chicago today as well. Kevin Mack on a first down carry gets about 4 yards. Let's go to Bob Costas for another update.
Tom, watch this catch by the great all-purpose back Thurman Thomas. First, Jim Kelly will scramble out of trouble. Then, just as he's hit, he throws it behind Thomas, who reaches back with his right hand, scoops it up, scampers in for the touchdown. For Kelly, his 26th TD pass of the year, far and away the league leader. And in Foxborough, it's Buffalo 10, Pats zip.
All right, Bob, Thurman Thomas, a great one. Leads the AFC in total yardage. The leading rusher, Christian Okoye, is second to Thomas. Here's Horde. Leroy Horde bursts free. Horde gets to the outside, to midfield. Leroy Horde, one man to beat. It's Derek Thomas who tackles him inside the 30-yard line. Leroy Horde rumbling for 52 yards before the speedy Derek Thomas can chase him down.
Powerful running by Horde behind Mike Babb, the center just to the left side of the line. He breaks these tackles with that leg drive and then shows us some speed that's rather surprising. Webster Slaughter's trying to make the play, but look at the speed of Derek Thomas, the outside linebacker for Kansas City. Check that hole out, folks. Dino Hackett clearly missed the tackle that time. Horde just ran through Hackett.
First down, Cleveland after the 52-yard run inside the 30 of the Chiefs. Kevin Mack, short yardage to the 25-yard line. Derek Thomas makes that tackle as well. Don't forget that at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award given to the game's MVP. Leroy Horde, certainly a candidate after that 52-yard run, his longest of the season. In fact, Horde had only gained 46 yards on 16 carries coming into today's game. Ripped off a 52-yarder. That's the longest of the season for the Cleveland Browns by far. Kozar in the middle of the field at Galbraith, the tight end, and he's got a first down for the Browns. Tackled by Martin and Hackett. Kozar staying with the safe passes. This one to the tight end Galbraith for 9 yards.
Well, Kozar is looking down the middle between the two linebackers, right in the middle of the field, folks, right there in front of Deron Cherry. That's a dead spot in the zone that Galbraith has found, and Kozar read. They're going to keep trying to pick that. They've already hit it or tried it 4 or 5 times. They hit it about 3 times. Cherry can't come out of that middle because he's afraid a receiver will get behind him.
Browns moving with a chance to break the scoreless deadlock. 6:45 left in the half. Kozar first down pass complete to Langhorne, and Langhorne with a gain of about 4 yards inside the 15 of the Chiefs. Tackled there by Kevin Ross.
Very interesting play. Langhorne that time didn't even go downfield. He just stood right up and held his ground, and Kozar hit him with the pass. What that means is he had a little more separation from the cornerback Ross that time, and gives Langhorne a little room to make some moves.
Albert Lewis has a strained right knee for the Chiefs and is questionable for the rest of the game. One of the best in the business, injured at the moment. J.C. Pearson is on to replace him. Fumbled almost. Finally, Horde gets the handle on the football, holds on to it, and is smashed to the turf at the 15, the line of scrimmage. Kevin Porter got him down.
Well, Horde has on a pair of gloves. Let's watch and see the handoff. Does it hit him in the right place? Sure. He had right in the gut. He just doesn't have the handle on it. You know, we used to play without gloves. That ball would be slippery when it got cold. Your hands would get dry. While you're wearing these gloves, you really do get a better grip on the ball. So mishandling the football surprises me a bit.
3rd and 7 from the Kansas City 15. Kozar is in the shotgun. He's got Mack and Horde as blockers on either side. 2 wide receivers set right. He looks that way, out of the flat. Horde ducks 1 tackler. He's to the 10, jumps to the 6-yard line. It should be enough for a first down. Lloyd Burris stopping Horde with a great effort for Cleveland.
Second effort. Kozar goes quickly to the right. Hord's just going to break a tackle here. You see the defensive back, Burris, tried to make the play, but Hord says, no, you can't hit those big guys high, Tom. Deron Cherry told us that yesterday. They're too much of a load. Hord is too much of a load. You got to get under him and cut his legs out.
He didn't get a very generous spot of the football. They're going to measure for the first down.
Well, they're at home. They're supposed to get a generous spot.
Here's the measurement. You can't really see it. Now that gives us the angle. It is first down by half the length of the football. Bernie Kosar hitting Hord out of the backfield. And Bernie, boy, Marty Schottenheimer praised his competitive instincts yesterday. He said, watch Bernie's eyes, and you'll see the competitor in there.
Oh, he's fiery, boy. He has his focus set on the game plan, on the defense. He knows what he wants to get done, and he's one of the best at getting it done, even though he doesn't look like one of those agile, fast-running quarterbacks. He's excellent.
Not picture-perfect form, but it gets the job done. First and goal, Browns. Kozar has completed his last 5 passes. Kevin Mack carries here. Mack carries it to the 4-yard line, tackled by Deron Cherry.
Yeah, that's the kind of tackle Deron Cherry doesn't like to have to make, I promise you, folks. Cherry has come back beautifully from that knee injury. He credits training camp having to go more reps this year than ever in the past. Has gotten him in great shape. He feels like he's playing as well as ever, but he does not want to get one-on-one with those big running backs.
Second and goal. Spot the ball between the 3 and 4. I formation. Mack. Kevin Mack powers straight ahead. Just short of the goal line. Kevin Ross got some help. They finally tackled Mack. He'll be inside the 1.
Boy, with this power running of Kevin Mack, you've got to figure, look at this drive. I mean, look, second effort, you've got to figure Cleveland's just going to try to stick it up the middle. I know I would, Tom. Right here, it's third down and about a foot. I'd use wedge blocking with my center guards and tackles, everybody shoulder to shoulder, and send Mack and his blocking back in behind them.
10th play of the drive. Lee Rousson in on a wing, now in motion. And the give straight ahead to Leroy Horde, and he has the touchdown. Poetic justice there, because it was the 52-yard run by Leroy Horde that set up the scoring opportunity.
On the right side, behind Big Dan Fike over here, right tackle. Just drive right through the hole. A beautiful drive by the Cleveland Brown offense. Check out the right side of this offensive line once again getting through there. Nice blocking.
Matt Stover is on to try the extra point for the Browns. Cleveland with a 10-play drive, keyed by the running of Leroy Horde, jump in front of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's 7-0 at the 3:31 mark.
For some people, the best thing about the morning is that it's over by the afternoon. So the Braun shaver is quiet to soothe the soul. It's curved to comfortably fit the face, with 3 shaving positions to cut, groom, and trim with superb results. Braun, a state-of-the-art shaver that could improve your state of mind. The world's #1 selling foil shaver.
We asked California artist Ed Lister to give us his impressions of the all-new 1992 Buick Skylark. To capture the lyrical lines, the liquid flow, the dash of flair, and above all, the quality that makes this the Buick of its class. Did he capture Skylark? Decide for yourself. But one thing's for certain. Skylark is the Buick that will change a lot of impressions about Buick.
Service to more cities across the Atlantic than any other U.S. airline, Delta now makes it easier than ever for the people of America to get to know the people of Europe.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
Sia.
Guten Tag. Grüezi.
Delta. We love to fly and it shows.
Здравствуйте. When you're all stuffed up and use an ordinary nasal spray, it drips into your tissue where it can't help you breathe. But not Sinex Ultrafine Mist. Its medicine stays where you need it, so you can breathe the way you want to. We don't drip down, we clear up.
Well, the Chiefs have had the better field position, but Belichick's Browns have the lead after a great drive. Leroy Horde scored the touchdown and set it up with a 52-yard run. And now the Browns will kick off with a 7-0 lead. Stratford, the deep man, takes it at the 13. Good return by Troy Stratford. He's across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Here's our starter 10-minute ticker for an update of the scores. Tim Brown, 75-yard punt return, giving the Raiders a 21-0 lead. New England on the board. It's 10-3 there. Warren Moon with a pass to Ernest Givens. Houston takes the lead at Pittsburgh. Barry Sanders' run still holding up, and Green Bay still on top 7-0. And the Cleveland Browns leading the Kansas City Chiefs 7-0. Steve DeBerg looking to get some points here before halftime. 3:22 left. DeBerg's pass down the sideline and broken up. Intended for Neil Harry, and Stephen Braggs was with him step for step. Braggs with good position. Well, yesterday you had the game, Harvard and Yale. You had the big game, Cal and Stanford. But next week here on NBC, Joe and I will be spending Thanksgiving weekend in New Orleans for the Bayou Classic. From the Superdome, Grambling and Southern. They've sent so many top players to the NFL. We'll see some pro stars of the future and a great college game, Grambling and Southern, next Saturday here on NBC. 2nd and 10 for the Chiefs. That was the first long pass attempt by DeBerg. It went awry. Here's a play-action pass. DeBerg completes it short. Harry makes the catch and is immediately wrapped up by Vince Newsom. Short gain on that play.
Vince Newsom, what a good fight. Hey, there are the guys coming up at halftime, NFL Live. I like to listen to those guys. They have so many good, informative things that's happening, huh?
That's not what you were saying earlier.
I know. But I was only kidding earlier. I like these guys.
The Domino's Pizza, NFL Live halftime report. Messrs. Costas, Parcells, Simpson, McDonough. All the scores and highlights and some other insights as well. Todd McNair in the backfield. Perry, Barnett, and Burden. 3 wides, actually 4 wides on now. DeBerg's pass. Wide of the intended receiver, Troy Stratford. And the Browns defense holds. Braggs was covering Stratford. Figaro also in on the play. Here's our Xerox Sports Facts. Who were the head coaches the last time the Chiefs beat the Browns in Cleveland? That was way back in 1972.
I'm not going to give you the answer, but I don't know if those coaches would have called a safety blitz on that last play. That was Hilliard that got in there to force DeBerg to throw the ball quickly. Now Cleveland may get their best field position on this punt.
Barker punting to Slaughter. Webster Slaughter takes it at the 28, gets to the outside, and then nice tackle in the open field made by James Saxon. Here's the answer to our Canon Sports Facts question. Back in 1972, who were the coaches the last time the Chiefs won here at Cleveland Stadium? Kansas City's Hank Stram and Nick Scorich of the Cleveland Browns.
Boy, Tom, that's so long ago I was even playing. My goodness. Hey, this is the best field position, by the way, the Browns have had so far. The Chiefs and Schottenheimer have been getting the ball and around the 40-yard line or so and have no points to show for that great field position. Cleveland's been starting out in their own territory. Now they're at about the 37, 38-yard line with plenty of time left on the clock for Kozar to get some more points.
That net punt by Barker only about 28 yards. Kevin Mack, good hole up front as Mack takes it to the 44-yard line, tackled by Tracy Simeon as we approach the 2-minute warning. Gain of 5 by Kevin Mack, and the clock will stop with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Cleveland Browns, bidding to upset the Kansas City Chiefs, have a 7-0 lead. Browns leading the Chiefs 7-0 with 2 minutes left in the first half of play, and the gloves the receivers and even the linemen wear have to feel awfully good in this weather today. But Joe, as we visited the Cleveland locker room yesterday, we found another use for these used gloves.
Right, well, they use the gloves, they give them to the homeless. You know, a lot of people around here, Cleveland, need gloves during the winter time, so they gather them up, they save them, and they help out some folks that can certainly put them to good use.
Take the used gloves and used socks and donate them to the homeless. Here's Langhorne on reception. Stuck at the 35-yard line, but a good gain for the Cleveland Browns as the Kansas City Chiefs come away with the football, but they're going to rule that the fumble occurred after he was down.
Oh, what a hit, though. I mean, my goodness. First of all, it's nice pass protection up front for Kozar. Langhorne's wide open, makes a nice run, but check out this hit. You talk about a form tackle. Pow! I mean, Chris Martin just absolutely squared up on Langhorne and just jarred him. I don't know how Langhorne held on to the ball, Tom.
Gain of 23 for the Browns. Kozar's pass again. This one short, complete to Langhorne. And Langhorne is to the 28-yard line of Kansas City. Browns stop the clock with a timeout. 1:13 left, trying to add to their 7-0 lead.
When what you eat and drink upsets your stomach, you want a medicine that works directly on your stomach. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, Pepto delivers powerful medicine right where you hurt. Pepto-Bismol.
Some people perspire.
We sweat.
You need Arid Double X Protection to help keep you extra dry. And look, it's the only leading solid that doesn't leave a white, flaky mess.
Arid Double X helps keep us extra
dry.
1:13 left in the first half. Cleveland down to its final timeout. After stopping the clock there, they have the ball at the 29-yard line of the Kansas City Chiefs, already leading 7-0. Bernie Kosar has completed his last 7 passes for a total of 60 yards. Stay with us at halftime for the NFL Live Domino Pizza halftime report. 2nd and 4, Kosar in the shotgun, working on a string of 7 in a row. Direct snap to Mack. Kevin Mack takes it to the 25 and then is thrown back to the Kansas City defense. It'll be close to a first down. Deron Cherry led the surge for the Chiefs. Clock inside 1 minute.
Cleveland doesn't want to use that last timeout. Kozar's trying to get his team together, try to make the first down right here, then maybe stop the clock even by throwing it in the ground. But Kozar wants the first down here.
3rd and a yard. Kevin Mack hits a pile and is stopped and thrown back. Mack will not pick up the first down. Bill Maas submarining, getting penetration and stacking Kevin Mack up right at the line of scrimmage. Bill Maas, number 63. Lloyd Burris came in too to put the finishing touches on. There's the veteran Maas in his 8th year out of Pittsburgh, former first-round draft choice. Pro Bowl nose tackle in '86 and '87. Moved to defensive end last year.
I tell you, I'm not sure that Cleveland and Kozar are going to try the field goal on 4th down. It looks like Belichick wants to get closer, and he's sending Kozar back on the field. Now, I know all 3 of Stover's misses this year have been from over 30 yards, so maybe they feel that going into the wind, it's a bit far for Stover to make the field goal.
The wind is blowing in the face of the Browns now. There's Stover. He does have a career-long 55-yarder this season, but they're not going to take the field goal attempt here.
Well, you know, with 34 seconds, Kozar can still complete a pass. They can line up, and he can stop the clock. This is a good move. I like this move by Coach Belichick.
4th and 1. Cleveland goes for it. Flags fly. Dan Saliamua, the nose tackle of the Chiefs, has just given Cleveland a first down unless he was drawn on.
Unless he was. Prior to the snap, number 19. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Well, Kozar gave that head bob and a hard count, trying to draw them offside, and the referees are not going to let him get away with it.
Well, take a look at Kozar, the way he calls these snaps out. He jerks a little bit, but I don't know whether it's enough to really get a penalty. That doesn't seem to be doing anything. I think Kozar was just fine that time. But I'll tell you what, Lloyd Burris was in Kozar's face. Kansas City had an excellent defense on that time, and they're going to stop that play. In fact, I think the Browns got a break on that play because Burris was all over Kozar.
So now they get a chance to try it again, although it is 4th and 6 now. See the time left. Cleveland leads 7-0. Kozar's pass complete to Langhorne. He has a first down. He's to the 16-yard line, tackled by Chris Martin. Clock continues to roll. They have 1 timeout left. He'll down it right here.
Easily, sure. That was nice coaching on Belichick's part.
No, he's going to try for it. Kozar then took a look. The man was covered, so he stopped the clock.
Brilliant. Very smart play. Very smart play. And I don't know what Coach Schottenheimer is so upset about, but he is certainly upset. That should be intentional grounding is what Coach Schottenheimer is saying right now, because Kozar dropped back, took a look at the receiver, and then threw the ball in the ground. No receiver anywhere around there. Certainly intentional grounding, and Schottenheimer would like to see that called at this point.
It's going to be about a 35-yard Stover field goal attempt. Kansas City will call a timeout.
Kansas City, that's their first team timeout.
They're going to try to ice him, literally.
Yeah, well, take a look at Kozar. He's looking at the receiver. Now watch where he throws the ball. That is intentional grounding. You know, now the rule is if the quarterback isn't under duress, under any defensive pressure, he can go ahead and throw the ball away. We've seen him throw it out of the end zone 40 yards into the bleachers. We've seen him throw the ball high off to the sideline. There was no pressure whatsoever on Kozar that time, so he chose to throw it at a very safe spot, about 3 yards from his feet.
It's only intentional grounding if you throw it to the ground or throw it away in an attempt to avoid a sack. And,
That's right.
There was no defensive pressure on Kozar at all, even though he did indeed take a look to see if he had a receiver down the sideline. The man was covered, so he just killed the clock.
Well, I tell you, the handling of this clock by the Cleveland Browns has been very efficient so far. They did get a big break. The Browns got a big break by having a penalty called on him, because once again, Schottenheimer's Lloyd Burris, the safety, was all over, would have been all over Bernie Kozar in the 4th down play.
Keep your eye on Albert Lewis, the blocking specialist. He's blocked 10 punts in his career and will try to block this field goal attempt by Matt Stover. Lewis to the right of your screen on the outside. Stover gets it away, and it is good. The Browns, with another impressive drive, get on the scoreboard with just 9 ticks remaining in the first half. And Cleveland right now, the more impressive of these two teams, trying to put a dent in the Kansas City Chiefs' playoff hopes, have sprinted to a 10-0 first half lead. Marty Schottenheimer saying to win the division, his Chiefs had to win all the remaining games. Certainly, though, they can stand a loss with the playoff hopes, but they have a tough remaining schedule because they must go on the road to Seattle, to San Francisco, and to the Raiders, with 1 home game left against San Diego. We asked Schottenheimer about that road schedule. You see it right there, 3 games on the road, but he said the road doesn't bother us so much. We were 5-3 on the road last season, and he says it's when you play teams, not where you play teams. If you catch a hot team, it doesn't matter where you play them. And he needs this win at Cleveland today, though. He's got a tough remaining schedule. The Chiefs 7-4 and trailing the Broncos by a game officially in the standings, but in all likelihood it's a 2-game lead because they lost twice to the Broncos and so lose any tiebreakers. Here's the Browns kickoff, taken by McNair, one of the up men. Todd McNair to the 36-yard line with 3 seconds left in the half. 18-yard return. Brandon with the tackle. So we invite you to spend a part of your Thanksgiving Day with us here on NBC. We'll have a feast of football for you as the Pittsburgh Steelers will take on Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys. That's Thanksgiving Day, 3:30 Eastern Time here on NBC.
Troy Aikman has developed into one of the finest young quarterbacks in the game. When he gets a little more help around him, a better supporting cast, folks, you're going to see Aikman turn into one of the very best.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs will let the seconds roll out here. And the first half will come to an end. 2 late drives for the Cleveland Browns have given them a 10-0 lead. Remember, the Chiefs squandered 2 scoring opportunities with Christian Okoye fumbling twice inside the 5. It's 10-0 Cleveland. Now let's go to Bob Costas for halftime.